أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. تكبير. Raise your voice.
Hello, Muslim friends of the world. In an event that shocked the world, a prominent Jewish rabbi made a candid statement regarding a prophecy in the Qur'an that discusses the destruction of the Jewish people. The rabbi, whose identity has been kept confidential for security reasons, surprised the international community by acknowledging that there are elements in the Islamic holy book that predict the future fate of the Jewish people. In a speech delivered to his followers and broadcast online, the rabbi explained that he had long studied various religious texts, including the Qur'an. He mentioned that there are certain verses that he believes refer to the destruction or severe trials that the Jewish people will face. One of the verses he highlighted was from Surah Al-Isra, verses 4-7, which in traditional interpretations is seen as a reference to the two great destructions experienced by the children of Israel. We cannot ignore other holy books, including the Qur'an, which mentions the history and future of the Jewish people, said the rabbi. He added that interpreting these verses should serve as a reflection for Jews, not as a threat, but as a reminder not to repeat the mistakes of the past. This statement sparked controversy among the Jewish community, with some religious and political figures harshly criticizing the rabbi's remarks. They argued that acknowledging prophecies in other scriptures could weaken their position. On the other hand, some moderate figures stated that openness to studying and understanding other religious texts is an important step toward peace and interfaith understanding. Among Muslims, the rabbi's statement was met with mixed reactions. Some scholars praised the rabbi's courage to acknowledge the truth of the Qur'an's prophecy, while others responded more cautiously, emphasizing that deep and wise interpretation is essential when discussing sensitive topics like this. Nevertheless, this event reflects the complexity and sensitivity of interfaith relations, especially when discussing prophecies related to the future. The rabbi concluded his statement by calling for deeper and more respectful interfaith dialogue, hoping it would lead to better understanding in the future. Amid this surprising development, several Jewish communities around the world began expressing concern following the rabbi's acknowledgement of a prophecy in the Qur'an. This acknowledgement prompted some Jews to start delving into the Islamic holy book to understand more deeply whether the prophecy of their destruction has any basis in truth. This concern was triggered by the interpretation of several Quranic verses that some believe foretell the future of the Jewish people. Surah Al-Isra, verses 4-7, has become the focus, where the Qur'an mentions the two destructions experienced by the children of Israel due to their disobedience to God's commandments. For some Jews, this verse raises questions about what might happen in the future if past mistakes are repeated. A member of the Jewish community in Europe, who wished to remain anonymous, said, "We never considered the Qur'an as a source we needed to study deeply." However, after the rabbi's statement, some of us feel the need to understand what is really being said and how it might be relevant to our history. The growing interest in studying the Qur'an has become evident, with some Jewish communities seeking interpretations that explain how Muslims view the verses related to the children of Israel. Some members of the Jewish community have even begun consulting Muslim scholars to gain a more accurate and profound understanding of the text. However, there are also concerns that this increased attention could deepen internal divisions within the Jewish community. Some conservative Jewish figures view this effort as a diversion from their core beliefs and warn that delving too deeply into the interpretation of another holy book could sow doubt in their own faith. "It is crucial to remain focused on our own beliefs and traditions," said one conservative rabbi. "While it is important to understand other religions, we must not allow ourselves to be carried away by unfounded fears or worries." On the other hand, several Jewish and Muslim intellectuals welcomed this phenomenon as a positive sign of the search for truth. According to them, the openness of the Jewish community to study the holy books of other religions reflects a genuine desire for a broader and deeper understanding. Meanwhile, some Muslim scholars view this phenomenon as a potential bridge to stronger interfaith dialogue. They emphasize that the Qur'an not only speaks about the past but also provides lessons for humanity on how to live with justice and obedience to God. An unexpected event has occurred within the Jewish communities around the world. After the growing interest in studying the Qur'an to understand prophecies believed to speak about the Jewish people, some individuals from these communities made a major decision: they embraced Islam. This decision came after some Jews, initially worried about the prophecy of destruction in the Qur'an, began to explore the teachings of Islam more deeply. Initially, they were merely curious about how the Islamic holy book discussed the children of Israel and their future. However, as they delved deeper into the Quranic texts, many of them were touched by the universal message of Islam regarding justice, monotheism, the oneness of God, and a life oriented towards truth and piety. One convert, formerly a member of a prominent Jewish community in the Middle East, said, "At first, I was just interested in finding out about the prophecy of destruction in the Quran because it was relevant to our history. But the more I read, the more my heart opened to the truth taught by the Quran, especially about the oneness of God and the afterlife." The decision to convert to Islam was not made without inner struggles. Many who previously lived within Jewish traditions faced significant challenges, both internally and from their communities. Some Jewish converts admitted that they faced pressure from family and community members who saw their decision as a betrayal of ancestral beliefs. "It hasn't been easy. My family feels that I have abandoned our heritage. But after understanding the teachings of Islam, I am confident that this is the truth I have been seeking for a long time," said another convert, who is now actively involved in Islamic studies and outreach efforts. This process of conversion did not happen en masse but rather involved individuals who, through personal spiritual exploration, ultimately found comfort and conviction in Islam. Some of them were also involved in interfaith dialogue before making this decision, seeking broader perspectives from Muslim scholars and intellectuals. Among Muslims, this phenomenon has been met with gratitude and joy. Muslim scholars and intellectuals emphasized that anyone's decision to embrace Islam should be based on deep understanding, not out of fear or pressure. This is not about one religion triumphing over another, but about how divine truth touches the hearts of individuals, said a prominent scholar from Al-Azhar. However, this phenomenon has also elicited mixed reactions within the Jewish community. Some Jewish religious figures expressed concern over the conversions and suggested that there should be more intensive internal dialogue within the community to address the theological questions emerging among them. The phenomenon of Jews embracing Islam after studying the Quran highlights the profound impact that sincere spiritual searches can have. Although this decision poses significant challenges for those involved, it symbolizes a quest for truth that transcends religious and historical boundaries. Amid all these challenges, open and understanding interfaith dialogue remains key to building more harmonious relationships between religious communities.